Uh, Hello. This is it's a report on 2020 after 4 years of torture under the U.S. Senate and the Trump administration's, uh, you know, uh, uh, holding of information to the U.S. public about what's going on, especially now with 2 years, almost 2 years of the virus going on. How do you explain not hearing anything from the CIA or the NSA? How do you explain not hearing anything from Gina Haspel? How do you explain not hearing anything about what she's doing and is she working? Is Secretary Pompeo doing anything? Is he getting ready to leave? Or they're not reporting on what is going on as far as foreign interference and how that affected the coronavirus, and if there's anything they can do to stop it, if they're going to stay on board. You haven't heard Joe Biden say who his CIA director is going to be, who his coronavirus task force expert's going to be. You haven't heard Trump say where he's going to go to after he's left the White House. Does he have enough money to go anywhere? Does he have anywhere that's willing to take him in? And is it going to be a responsible transfer of power? All you hear about is people anxiously hoping to get rid of the virus, which how they're going to get rid of the virus. What is the virus? Is Trump the virus? I think Trump and Pompeo, it's the Trumpeo virus. It's actually uh, the damage of what USA has become under MSNBC, which has Trump playing 24 hours a day, Fox News, which has Trump playing 24 hours a day. Who else? I don't know the other networks in in the country, what they're doing, but then you have, the groups thinking. Democrats obviously are holding every Republican. They're holding their breath, waiting for him to leave, obviously, and I think that as far as he's concerned, he's not going to. He's not going to. If he's not going to do as he wants to do. So if he's not going to do as he wants to do, maybe he's going to destroy the country before he leaves. So we'll have to see what he does. I'd like to hear your thoughts. I think we should have some more responsible people in the government that should tell us, and what's going on. Why don't we hear anything from the CIA or the FBI or Trump hasn't held any press conferences or anything at all. I don't know if he was hoping on beating the fake news. I just want to see how he's going to beat the fake news. How he's going to hold China responsible for the virus. How he's going to hold Russia responsible for interference. How he's going to hold himself responsible for choosing to steal so much intelligence and stuff from the country and sell it to our enemies. And who's going to hold him? Or is anyone going to hold him responsible if he doesn't leave the White House? What part of the National Guard, what part of the CIA, what part of the NSA, what part of the Army or the Air Force or the Secret Service or the Navy or the government is actually going to be, or the Secret Service or the Marines, even at the door of the White House? Who's going to be held responsible for escorting Mr. President off of the premises of the White House and actually changing America back into a comfortable, normal society again? It's not as if we've been living in a normal country. It's been MSNBC and CNN and Fox News have held us actually under a Trump virus themselves, which it's just constantly a police state of the news networks controlling us with Trump. and it's, in my opinion, it has to be a return to normal. It can't just be the constant uh, state of the imagination of the kid who grew up and wants to run the country like he's the sheriff and everybody's a bad guy and there's something wrong with everybody, and he's out to take the special qualities out of everyone with the virus, and wait till everybody is asking him appropriate questions, asking him things the appropriate way, telling him things that he wants to hear, giving him what he wants all the time, and giving him credit for things that he wants, and when it's just him doing things that actually nobody likes. And now all the Republicans who are trying to, not admit that they even lost the election. I mean, first of all, the popular vote was more. Second of all, the electoral votes were more. These guys have to realize that they can't just say that they're going to stay there and that they're the best. They have to follow the law. They have to follow the law and order that he actually is giving no hope, no chance to follow, no chance for people to continue respecting. So what's going to happen to America? We'd like to hear from Trump. We'd like to hear from Pelosi and Schumer and the army as well. They don't have to listen to They don't have to listen to him if he says he's going to stay in the office. He's going to have to be told that no, they have to give the other. He can't buy the White House. There's other people that get to work in the country of America also. They can't just buy the government. Can he buy the government? I don't know. So the situation's changing in America. If Trump buys the government, if that's the way this country's going to be now, that's the way the country's going to. I don't know what else to tell you. That's my perspective. I don't think he can buy the government. He has to. If he has to accept that, he is not the president, and he has to accept that other people are the president, and he has to go home, and wherever that home is, I'm sure he can go to his golf course in Scotland, or he can go to I don't know, he can go to the Cayman Islands or Bahamas or Caribbean or Texas or Florida, wherever he's welcome. But the whole point of greatness is just a little too much for I think for America, and it was like they want to be so great that they're not free anymore. So I think that's one thing to think about, is you can't abuse your greatness to the point where you start fighting all the time with everything and everybody, and arguing with everything and everybody, and creating so much stress that people are always afraid of you and always afraid of seeing you, and just trying to reverse everything that everybody says all the time, and even trying to use the NSA and CIA to control the population, not to ever have another president again. That's something that it's very. I don't know if he understands. It's not something that the police. I mean, even if he owns the police, there's not going to be any way to stop the people from throwing him out of the White House. So, if you ask me, it's best. That would create a terrible incident. The best thing he could do is just refrain from trying anything stupid, like bombing Iran and going to war with the country just for some other way for him to, or distraction for him to stay longer. And this whole time he's been Trump, the virus. He's been pretending that there's a security threat from countries which don't pose security threats to either Israel or America. So everybody in the world sees that, and even the Democrats see that, and they had a peace deal which he tried to erase from the whole public's mind, and it's. I think nothing. You can't say it's worked. You can just say that everybody is completely brainless and wordless and doesn't know what's happening. And I'm afraid I would be afraid also if his military is the same way and they just keep listening to whatever he wants and continues this thing right now um, and Joe Biden doesn't get a chance to take over in on the 20th or even today. I mean, Mike Pence does have responsibility. It's called the 25th Amendment, and if that's what it's looking like, then um, it would be more peace if he does it today. So there's no chance for him to start a war in the next 10 days or 15 days, which everybody in my intelligence bureau is telling me that he's thinking about doing, just to stay in and stay on and to be great, which is that's it's not a way of being great. It's just a way of of taking a chance on something that you don't know what the outcome is going to be. So yeah. Anyway, that's the perspective, the Persian perspective for today. So let me know what y'all think. And the reason I sound so paranoid is because of what you and everybody watching this knows is that Trump is obsessed with taking on Iran and obsessed with taking over my family and everything, all their properties and their money, and accusing me of masturbating. And the way I masturbate, he's trying to convince with the coronavirus and all this stuff that's confusing the brains of everybody in this country. He's trying to say that I am responsible for masturbating to something that's a national security threat to our country. I mean, the guy is absolutely insane. He says my artwork that is very amazing. He says the artwork tells everybody that it's a sure. I don't even have any artwork. Well, obviously, I do. I mean, that's all I do with my life. The guy is trying to lie about me, trying to lie about socialists, trying to lie about China, trying to lie about Russia, trying to lie about Hillary, trying to lie about Joe Biden, trying to lie about everybody, just so he can continue to pick up nice homes and real estate and money for himself. We have a normal country, a normal order. He was voted out. I mean, he had 4 years. He didn't do enough to do anything for the Democrats. That's the reason he lost. The people weren't defeated. The people are not insane. The 4 years that he took is now the votes were here, and the Democrats were millions more again, and this time they actually included the Electoral College. So, Mr. Trump, you've been saying it for 4 years that I'm masturbating and that I should be tortured and I love this and I love that and all the bullshit that you said about me and my masturbation. It's time to quit that, forget this thing, and I mean not forget it. Just it's time to move on because the Democrats found millions of more votes. The Democrats weren't defeated. The liberals weren't defeated. The socialists weren't defeated. The Americans were not defeated. And whether you're on the Black Lives Matter side or the White Lives Matter side or Police Lives Matter side or the Change Lives Matter side, you have to. It doesn't matter because the reason you lost is because you were only on the conservative Republican low cut people's rights side and force people to obey law and order when you're the president, as if you're forcing them to quit their jobs just because, hey, maybe if they go to the work, maybe that's out of order. Maybe even if they quit. Even if they're waking up in the morning or if they're breathing, maybe that's to you, that's not an order that you want. That's your version of law and order. It's obviously, America is not a place where you get to take over the country for as long as you want and do whatever you want with it. The Democrats have, so that's the rest of America's version of law and order. You can accuse me of trying to be better than everybody, accuse me of being racist, accuse me of masturbating to taking the souls out of black people, souls out of other people. I don't know who else it is. You can call me the travesty. You can call me whatever you want, but it's a social country, and I mean it's not a social country, but it's a social. There's something. It was a social gathering called an election, and that's the rules and the law and order of this country. There was more votes for the Democrats. The Democrats weren't defeated. You are obviously able to come back and try again, but for now, please just respect the country and the people, and give the liberals and Democrats a chance to bring the peace deal back with Europe and with Asia, and let's not think of things as in greatness, and let's not think of things in law and order at all anymore, because it's been so much law and order that people became out of order. They became confused with law and order. They didn't realize what law and order is anymore, and they became too free, and they ended up going to prison more instead of being, cooler, more respectful of law and order and stuff like that. Give it a thought. I mean, not give it a thought, but give it 4 years and then see how it's going. And I'm sure you can come back and say what you did 4 years ago was this way, and what you want for the country. You can give people a chance to see how you were as a first time. It was your first as a president, and then you can come back in 4 years and say, how do you think about putting me back in office? But the votes went for the Democrats, so the rule of law and order is it has to come to an end. Not to an end. The rule of law and order doesn't have to come to an end, but your law and order cannot just be, hey, people are a national security threat just because they're breathing, just because they have words coming out of their mouths. It has to be something actually different. It has to be actual something else. And you can't use national security or something to threaten governors to change elections. So please respect it and move on to whatever else you're going to do in your life, and let the Americans be free, because we respect freedom and democracy as well as law and order. Thank you.